I just had the super squat fall off. God damn. Shoot. Okay, I feel like this is coming from something that's not supposed to. Default. Crazy.
Spring smells amazing, unless you're allergic to it. Crazy. I've been responding to niggas. The response has been responding to niggas. I'm just saying. I've been responding to niggas. I guess I hold myself. Hey, it be like that. Clips was popping. Hold on. Is it like some trash ass feedback, Luke, or am I tripping? Am I tripping? I may have to get this pulled up on my phone. Is it like some trash feedback, Luke? Appreciate it, Dojo. You my go, man. Shout out Clips, man. Big Cobra in the building too, man. Why you have .mp4 behind your name? What's going? Why are you naming yourself out that file? What's going on here? Konichi Wagon is crazy. Konichi Wagon is crazy. How y'all feeling today? So let me make sure ain't no garbage ass feedback loop. Cause that'd be crazy. See, I don't know if it's a garbage feedback loop unless y'all say something. That's crazy. Unless I'm too low. Maybe let me see. Turn myself up some more. Oh yeah, hold on. I already know what to do. Just give me a second. Let me go ahead and switch equipment. I should be able to switch over to a somewhat better sounding mic. And then Okay. How's that, y'all? That cool? Is that better? The audio level is still kind of going high, but you know what I'm saying? Hey, man. It be like that. We just gonna call it the bodega joint. Ooh. Coffee is definitely hitting right now. We can go ahead and go to here. Ain't really much, you feel me? Wait, stress to screen is crazy. Nah, we don't really do the stress to screen. Fit to screen is even worse. Keep it like that then. Louder. Alright, bet. So man, how long do we got until Ordeal come back anyway? I literally been kind of like in my hiding hole. I have what Klep sent me. I have what Mango and Jay sent me for the Dub Slash Show. Oh, I appreciate you. Hey man, I had to panic and find something because I didn't have the time to make anything. I'm still doing this goddamn audio. What's poppin', Jay? Welcome. How you doing, family? You good, G? I see like some type of black part, and it's making me mad because I know these images are basically the side they're supposed to be. You feel me? But hey, man, it be like that sometimes. You can only, you know what I'm saying, prepare for the best, expect the worst, nigga. So hey, it be like that. Granted, this is impromptu. October or December? Ah, shit, that's enough time. Don't get me lying now. That's enough time for me to catch up. That's definitely enough time for me to catch up and do other videos on the side too. Like, it's crazy because I didn't think I would get a lot of stuff from this Rajani fight that I got. And I'm just like, oh, wow. This some bull. I thought this was going to be like 12 minutes. It is not going to be a 12-minute video. And then I'm kind of moving stuff around too. Because, like the betrayal stuff, I felt like the chapter that we was on. Like, yeah, it was betrayal, but I felt like it fit better if it was just its own focused review versus me trying to put it in there and it not being to my liking because I'm not going to want to spend that much time in regards to the editing process, so it'll make me lose not how I feel about it, but the enjoyment that I got up out of it. So I know I'm moving that one around. That Kofi fight, it's crazy because I want to talk about the science in the Kofi fight, but I really don't know how I want to really start it. You feel me? Like, yeah, obviously we're gonna start from the first chapter. You feel me? Obviously, but like in regards to how I want to go about explaining his power in a scientific way, because obviously it's basically like basically a uranium bomb. So all the contents of a uranium bomb. Can you tell? Have I been at work all day? But because I was thinking like Tyson kind of works like plutonium and uranium. Well, Tyson is kind of like plutonium, and it kind of reminded me of the Simpson stuff, the Simpson plutonium that Homer Simpson work at. That's kind of how I internalized it, and so maybe his chi is kind of like the uranium, and it clashing together is the force it needs to explode. Granted, I haven't did the research on it that I typically do for reviews, and like, if my knowledge is lacking, or if I don't remember something specific, then I have to kind of go down like a 2 to 6 hour rabbit hole of research before I be like, oh yeah, this is kind of what I think it is. Because even if it's like, oh no, it can't be this for this reason, then I'm not gonna really put it. And so kind of like research like that is what really make reviews and stuff like that take a long time. Because yeah, I could just sit here and blab to y'all, kind of like what I'm doing right now. But if I'm gonna put more effort into something, I'd rather it be something that it took me a long time to do, or something that I have to actually put time into, versus me just sitting here in front of the camera and talking to y'all. But right now, yeah, it's too hot for all that, bro. I'm not sitting in front of no camera. I'm not turning on no ring light. You know what I'm saying? We just chilling, you feel me? Speculative aspect, then break down into the factual. Hold on, you know what I'm saying? I feel like we didn't both watch the Goofy movie and niggas done seen eye to eye. I'm just saying. We done both seen the Goofy movie, gang. Jay pulled up like Powerline. Bro. Yeah, but with that thing, you kind of lean into the aspect of people thinking like that's definitive truth, and then Brent comes out sometime in August. I was like, oh yeah, Kofi talent. Nah, bro. He just has a nuke. What did you do? I just thought it was cool. So you know what I'm saying? I'll be kind of trying to be careful on that in my for my joints. You feel me? But you actually may be right. That may be actually the best course of action for Kofi, because there's not really much character stuff I can really talk about with family. Like I'm trying to rack my brain. Like even the stuff on the train. Like I'm really trying. Even the stuff talking to the Cubs. I'm trying, nigga. And I know some of my videos, some of my points I'll be making, y'all be like, this nigga really doing mental gymnastics, or this nigga really just saying shit. Maybe y'all feel that way. I don't feel that way personally. Maybe because I'm the one yapping. You feel me? But nonetheless, if it was something like Reed, like for example, when Reed watched his children die, that was some of the most heartfelt thing we've seen in Ordeal. Like him, even as he's dying, he can only and when you know how his talent works, he's probably like using the eye so that way he can keep track of his kids in that flame. So even with that like speculative nature, this man is dying, still trying to make sure his kids is okay. Bro, I wasn't expecting to see anything like that in Ordeal, and I really wanted Reed to get dove into. Like, yeah, I was clowning Reed, but that's for the love of the game. Reed is one of those characters that you really kind of have to sit back and not only put yourself in his shoes, but look at the totality of not only the fragility of the chemio and human piece, but also you have to take into account the selfishness of that man as well. And it kind of hit both aspects of what we value, which is the next generation, but also that saying what breeds selfishness or what could come about from selfishness being breeded. So I thought Reed was really a compelling character. It's like, how can I put this? The best way I could put it is like Kofi had the action Reed should have had, and Reed had the character Kofi should have had, if that makes sense. And not necessarily, oh, they need to be a one-on-one, but more of how we dove into that character, how we got to see what really makes him tick in regards to the decisions he make. You feel me? I watched my own stream back and had some about Kofi and Son versus Roberto and Aria, and if we got that instead, we'll probably have more to talk about with Kofi as a character. Yeah, because it'll show how love can basically flourish through conflict or through, in Val's soldier's case, not being accepted. And in Kofi's case, it'll show that love conquers all. Since he basically can't really do anything, he can't even live an actual normal life. He has to sit there, basically stay still. And this is the one time where he actually was able to move, or he needed to move the way everybody else moved. And it was kind of like the best kind of thing I could put for Kofi is the monster aspect of his character. And I think the monster aspect of Kofi's character is really amazing, and how he reflects Konos, and we even see childlike parts of Kofi when he's on the train with the chocolate, like him waking up out his sleep. You feel me? So we kind of see that, and how he basically is dormant until it's time for him to be used, and watching him sympathize with the Konos Gaki before ultimately meeting his end because he was too busy sympathizing. It kind of goes to show, like, yeah, he was just a powerhouse, of course, but he was a powerhouse who never really got to live his life. But the few moments he did get to live a life, it was with Sonya, and so it made him cherish that life even more. That's kind of really as deep as you can go with Kofi. Unless I just like, I would have to kind of like go back and compare Kofi to someone else. And I know when I did my season 2 review on my other channel, which was like 5 hours long, with just me and the homie just chopping it up, Muda said that Kofi and Anton has similar aesthetics, and it kind of reminds me of where Anton and Ross conversation, when they were just talking about the weight that someone has to basically carry and him disconnecting. But with this portion, we see that Kofi, although he wasn't able to finish the battle, he still was able to carry the weight and get all the politicians safe, which is technically his mission. He was still able to complete his mission. And he was basically a living, not a living testament, but a living contradiction to Ross's point, where he could basically handle any weight, and you basically break under that weight. Kobe kind of is like the opposite of that, because even when fighting the Gaki, he actually never gave up. Even with the antimatter, he was still trying to figure out ways where he can gain the upper hand. And that's kind of one thing I do respect about my dog, Mike Tyson. You feel me? My dog, Kofi Tyson, Nuclear Tyson. But I know Brent been dropping a bunch of we can all cut on auto reordering and add the PPE. You feel me? Hold on. Granger is crazy. You go ahead and skip you, Granger. To put me into a McDonald's ad next is crazy. For y'all to say, yeah, gang, you only get one ad, family. You get your music back after one ad. Cool, perfect. Yeah, gang, that's over with. I know I want to do a video on the this season 4 stuff, but Brent did drop so many goddamn screenshots. I'm at the point I don't know if I want to do them as single off videos or if I want to do them as just one big video, but it's just gonna take me a while to edit. But let me see. Hold on. Gotta see. Oh, and Roberto versus Kofi, Jay. Cause I know I didn't really touch on that. I kind of touched on just like the character aspect. He gonna have to show me something, G, before I let him get in the ring with Tyson, G. Cause not everybody can box with the gods, like my nigga Carter said, G. Roberto arms might not be long enough to box with the gods, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what the community said, bro. You know what I'm saying? You telling me Roberto and Ordeal is being the guy who's supposedly is stronger than Sabito? Allegedly, based on the community's synopsis. Don't know how they got through it, but you know what I'm saying? Based on for some odd majority synopsis, that Kofi is stronger than bro. Captain Birdchest versus Mr. Earbiter. Who was Mr. Earbiter? What? What talents do you have? Hold on, wait a minute again. What talents are we popping up with now? That's the question, bro. Motherfucker need to go to Red Ember Gym. Y'all need to go to Red Ember Gym, bro. Now, I know Birdchest is Jose. You know what I'm saying? But who is Mr. Ear Eater? Oh, Earbiter, Tyson, of course. Captain Birdchest versus Mr. Earbiter. That's kind of a bad matchup, though. We know at the end of the day, we know that Kofi is gonna stomp Jose. We just know that. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. We just know that. But if you want to know how the fight will go, I think Kofi wouldn't really gain traction until a star or two blow up. And that's what's going to make him actually be able to gain traction in regards to the destructive output against Jose. Oh, Roberto the Fox, not the bird? I mixed the zoo animal. That's crazy. That's crazy. I haven't been to the zoo in years. I'm going to have to record the parts of the stream while I talk about the teaser and do a different thumbnail so people can hear what I had to say about them. Shit, I might as well pull them up, huh, Jay? At least talk about one of them. What y'all think? We just chilling for the birthday stream, you feel me? But you know what I'm saying? We can talk Ordeal, you feel me? Cause I know it's gonna be a while before I get to him, so you know what I'm saying? My thoughts may change when I'm sitting here and looking at it with my one good shot in gone, you feel me? Yeah, we gonna add this to the list of random joints. I be forgetting. I be making so many wallpapers and shit like that for Ordeal that I don't even really be knowing what all of the stuff is. Like you can ask Jay, he can attest to it. I be sending shit at random times. It don't be warranted. It comes out of nowhere. But I be sending shit at random times, gang. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Hey man, shout out me and Jay messages. They got a bunch of random wallpapers. I'm definitely about to add those to the mix real quick. Okay, yeah, we replacing that one. Is that the last one? Of course, it's not the last one. And then add these two, and then after that, I have to go through the messages to see which one I actually want to talk about. Cause them pillar guys, I don't really got much to say for them right now until I actually like sit here and look at them. But I know it's something I did want to say about somebody. You feel me? We got some verses. I got some verses thumbnails in here too if y'all want to talk about those. They're not like the typical ordeal verses though, because I feel like for you to really understand the ordeal power system, you have to kind of like scale bottom to top instead of top to bottom. Speaking of, you gonna put in the wallpaper request at some point? Shit, hey man, I got you. If I got the time for it, Jay, cause you know what I'm saying. Now your boy, you know what I'm saying. I've been getting sleep. You feel me? I've been getting sleep. 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 Oh yeah, that Rajani art is gonna be for this upcoming video. I think I don't know who watched the previous video in here and who didn't. You feel me? But hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully I dissected the character a little bit. You feel me? Hopefully y'all you know what I'm saying, get a little bit better understanding for the character if not already, because I know a lot of people didn't really like the Rajani fight, and now that I'm kind of like analyzing everything, I really am enjoying it. This more on her than Brent fulfilling his promises is crazy. It's crazy. Nah, Brent, hey man, Brent doing his thing, bro. The whole thing about it is he's seeing the feedback, whether it's for me and my rip the band-aid off approach on my Wolf Nara channel, or it's from Jay with guiding him through exactly his faults. You feel me? He got both sides of the spectrum, because me personally, I didn't want to do anything that was like super analytical. I felt that in my reaction, just like how every other chapter is over the top and emotional, when I loved it, it should be just the same. If I didn't like it, I wanted to keep the journalistic integrity in that regard. Um, so he got both ends of the spectrum. I'm me on my end. I'm speaking from the generalized community perspective. Jay is speaking from a literary creator standpoint. And so we pull in both answers. It's like when you're taking a look at the not computer, when you're taking a look at the people and they're saying, "Oh yeah, this is goated, this is goated," and you're getting drowned out by that message. You have to also, it'll make those criticism hit that much more harder. You feel me? And I'm looking at the comments, they're like, "Yeah, this is goated, this is goated," and I'm looking at them like, bro, what did we honestly get from this chapter? Like every chapter of Ordeal thus far, from chapter 1, we have gotten something. We have gotten something that builds onto the overall story, character, or theme of Ordeal. But this chapter kind of guaranteed that Shay, oh yeah, he's gonna crash out again. Yeah, we know that. I can't get I can't have Andrea while I have this one thing while I pursue this purpose. We got an example of that with you killing her. We're gonna say that's by mistake. I'm not gonna give you the pass for killing my baby now. I'm not gonna give you the pass. Because I was in love. You know what I'm saying? But we knew that with how you handled the Shinjuku joint, the whole Shinjuku city being destroyed, because you never took into consideration, not forget that being technically your native homeland, even though you're from Trinidad, but your father's from there. That's part of your heritage. Fuck that. Screw that. Hey man, no, I said, hey man, no, I said, we trying to keep it friendly over here. Screw that. You could have considered the very woman you proposed to, that you're destroying a portion of her home, kind of going to show your selfishness as well. So no, bro, you're no different than you're worse than Rokash at this current point in time. Cause I don't care what nobody says, bro. Yes, Rokash killed that lady. Yes, Rokash killed Jacob. And I'll give him those Titans death, whatever. We'll give him a few of those unrestricted tournaments. Yeah, let's pile on 10 bodies for that, for him being in top 100. But nigga, you killed at least hundreds of people, gang. They even said, "Alright, bro, everybody else can get out of this sometime, bro." And we watched what Rouse was saying to Anton happen to Shay in that dream. You feel me? And that's kind of like one of the things I'm going to touch on in the spoiler alert for when I get there. But that's one of the things I'm going to hone in on in that review, is that we see the disconnect and what's going on with Shay and how he's disconnected from his own personal needs, and how that ties into what Tevin was saying about him taking his time, and that very weight of his purpose is crushing him to the point where he can't even get peace of mind while awake. He has to remain disconnected, so that way the atrocities that he has committed don't break him. You feel me? And we also get that with the dream with him saying he's so sorry that he killed everyone in that moment. And that's in regards to the Thanatos, but we never truly get to see what his thought process was for Shinjuku. Rokash killing that random lady, probably a top 10 moment. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's because it's you, Mango. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did get a comment on my 161 review that's gonna make me revisit that, as well as the Naruto series. Hold on, lay it on me, John. I feel like I was supposed to be doing something, but then I started doing fraudulent things and being a fraud and just started talking. So, matter of fact, we got a versus right now. Now that I'm looking up, who battle of the low tiers? Who would y'all feel will win that? The Naki or Sunrise? I kind of want to see what the generalized thought process is for Ordeal, because I feel like they scale really close to each other. Like when I say really close, I mean really close to each other. And if you know Ordeal, then you will kind of know who will win, or you will have. It's not necessarily. I'm not necessarily looking for a right answer, because there is no right answer. But I'm looking for more of like the thought process behind you guys doing the power system or the power scaling, so that way I can kind of do the power scaling better, because I don't know if I do the power scaling well personally. I'm not much of a boom boom big explosion guy unless it's science. But you know what I'm saying? If you guys like me doing power scaling videos or power scaling things, I think I did things kind of like akin to that territory. Like I don't know if you guys watched the It's Shaped Planetary video, but that was kind of my attempt at power scaling Ordeal wise, minus the big numbers that truly don't matter. in a series like this. Really, even in the series they scale for. Truly don't matter. You can use the numbers just to be like, oh yeah, they're just this. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and crunch sophisticated calculations for no reason. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's this. This is the context. This is what the story provides. This backs up this. That's it. You give it to Nanaku? Hold on, we got a Nanaku lover in here? Why Nanaku? Why you not? Why Nanaku? Hold on, that intrigued me, King. Speed can use the over raw might, but Sunrise doesn't have much outside the speed clones. If Nanaku pulls the strat like Tevin did, then he wins. Sent the comment in Discord. Alright. Bet, say less, family. Hold on. I wondered if the other thumbnails ever loaded in. Oh well. I didn't even tell my Discord I was live. Hold on, let me tell the people I'm live. Hold on. Dang, I've been live 30 minutes. Didn't even tell nobody. All right. Okay, Shay's story is heavily reflecting Sasuke's own. The slit over the same eye, which is then replaced by a powerful illusion slash reality warping Genjutsu bloodline eye. The missing arm, the rogue teen, the downward spiral into villainy, and now the revelation talk after waking up from a battle by a masked man who's from the same clan as him, and also add the snake immortal villain. You might need to go do a video on this, my guy. Hey man, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, parallels, man. We know Brennan's heavily inspired by Naruto. It's to the point where if we're using this comment, Sasuke saved Naruto. But he isn't wrong. However, it would, for that parallel to go full circle, he would have to stay alive at the end. And I'm not seeing anything where Shay stays alive. It's crazy because right now the only reason, so we don't know. Okay, back to the Nanaku thing. We don't know exactly how much Nanaku can take in regards to damage. We know that Human Shay was able to basically stumble his. We barely ingested any blood before the match. Now, would y'all say that because for Nanaku to win, he has to go into blood frenzy mode? So would y'all say he will be able to touch Sunrise in that skinny, I'm about to call it a hybrid, skinny shift form before he enters blood frenzy? Because he has to ingest more blood for him to go into blood frenzy. Oh yeah, I think Kagayev personally is going to talk to Shay about the massacre of the clan. He's going to give him a different side of the story to make him a little bit more sympathetic. I feel like it's a screenshot of something. Hold on, who sent it to me? Shout out Kleps. I don't know if Kleps is still here. Like one of the videos I really do want to do. Hold on, let me see if I can just pull up Discord. My Discord not wild. I don't be talking to nobody, man. I just be talking to the homies. Shout out clips. Now this right here, bro. I really want to talk about this scene. Cause if I don't know if you guys seen my one, what was that, 147 review, where I kind of go into Val's past and I talk about him and how he kind of views the situation at hand. But I really felt like this is a real powerful scene for Brent to touch on. A foolish boy who hate I can smell, which means that when Dean finally gained the courage, he seen that his family was dead and Val left. Bro, that shit is powerful, bro. Because essentially he would blame Val. Look, mom, another peak YouTuber mentioned me. Peak YouTuber. I almost turned my camera on. I did the little nicks would build up like with Shay, just take longer. Facts. Val's hardest mission for sure. This is why, and when this happens, it'll make a lot more sense to why Val was curled up in a corner and reminiscing about his family, because yeah, Verdun people did kill his family, but he killed the last remnants of the family, really just solidifying him not only not allowing anyone to impose on his free will, but also that he ultimately threw away the life of comfort that Brother Vajrazata really wanted for him. And how Brother Vajrazata almost tried to, in a sense, force his ideals upon Val. But throughout the entirety of his life, Val kept that sense of free will to I'm gonna do what I want to do. I took what you said into consideration. Yes, it does seem like it'd be great, but I'll still feel empty. And that's why I kind of take that line where he says, I always want to see, it'd suck to die before I can see how much I can take from humans, or how much we can take from humans. Going to show, like, yes, he wants to include his family in his plans, but ultimately they're still going to be his plans nonetheless. So he still has this fire to see humans suffer. And we then see how that gets twisted with the Gaki and all the other Titan generals that he's kind of manipulating to some degree, like we see with Yorihime. And I really think Val, like, a saying like this would really do Val's character some justice. Because essentially this scene is paralleling, hold on, I know Clef sent it to me. They really brought back Donkey Man. This man Brent really brought back Donkey Man, bro. And then made it seem like this man Donkey Man didn't kill nobody of notoriety, bro. All Titans. Donkey Man is the Titan Slayer. He's, bro, oh my goodness. I seen something online like, yo, yeah, Agent 16, he's so hard. What do hard? Gang. Andrea did this in season 1 with Asgear with it. What's y'all definition of hard? We gotta start. We gotta start checking niggas at the door. Niggas need their ID. Okay, we gotta start. Hey, gang. What? Yeah, bro, he's so hard. Let me give me your ID, gang. Get to looking at that motherfucker. We gonna put it in your file. You can come in this one time, bro, but we don't want to hear you say that again. Not one Jenny Jen in sight, Clips. Right, exactly. Not one Jenny Jen in sight. Just disgusting. Hey, he got it on him though. But the fact that he's holding these 2 artillery weapons with the fake leg, big body, power type. But would it be amazing? Would it be amazing? Hear me out here. Hear me out here. Hear me out here. Because I doubt this. This is like 99.99% of doubt. Okay? I need this man to have like a human assistant or something. I need Agent 13, 16, whatever. I need him to have his Bucky. What's this? Somebody blew up the twin buildings? Okay, so I'm not changing for 5 years. So somebody blew up the buildings. So we gonna get a major event in the port of Spain again? And because these buildings, because if we take a look at like, what is that? Chapter 26, 27, roughly. The flash forward with Tevin. Basically the entirety of the port of Spain is basically ashes and remnants. But these two buildings are still somewhat up, and they still have their color, which means we're gonna get one more major battle in the port of Spain. And if this during the running age, this could either this would probably mean that we're gonna get a flashback for that 7 years, because a 7 year time skip is crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is crazy. 7 years is crazy. But if we get a flashback towards what exactly happened to Trinidad, Port of Spain, and the battle that took place there, you know what I'm saying? It'll give that flash forward we got in season 1 a lot more depth. Oh no, hold on. Breaking news in New York. Live from Times Square. Hold on. Is this part of the joint? Is this part of the joint? Because I guess this will get, if this is part of this, if breaking news in New York is part of the picture, because we know he likes to do his news updates, then that will give Kofi death a little bit more impact, because Kofi was the one protecting New York. Okay, my bad. I have not been looking at chat. I just been yapping. I'm sorry. I'm Slaw L Streamer. L Streamerer. Although not one time general in sight. King. He needs to be stopped. All of them look like shift talents. I need shift talents to get more respect. Alright, so they in New York. Okay, Kofi has a little bit more impact now, because this wouldn't happen if Kofi was there. What is that? Wall Street, the core of the United States economy. So you think since Thanatos wasn't able to get them politicians, he's gonna try to crash a couple of superpowers' economy? Because if you take the food and the funds away from the people, they are more likely to follow you. Not fully selling the Kraken. But if we get the Kraken, we get the Leviathan. I'm just saying. If we're going down to that realm of sea creature, we already got the foreshadow for it. We're getting the Leviathan at some point in the story. If the Kraken is real, we're getting the Leviathan. If it's not, I still want the Leviathan. I still want the Leviathan, bro. We need to see that, bro. Because if Shay had this holy purpose, I would like to see him interact with some of these primordial beings. You feel me? Like, I want to see Shay interact with an angel in his true form. I'm just saying that, like on a giant cliff. I know I can't think of the person from the Bible who went to the peak of a mountain, and then he was able to see not only all of the land, but he was able to see what the angels really look like. I can't think of who it is. That would be fire. Hold on. Discord about. I want to cook this nigga. He got this old Nokia ass cape on. But it does give him free reign to use his arm. But where is the Eldritch Mantle? So what is this? Okay. We got some more people on Thanatos' side. Armor. Okay, so these gotta be like the new Titans. Because for me personally, I think the Titans, it's about time they get an upgrade too. Because if the humans are going to get an upgrade, the Titans are going to need to get an upgrade. And if we already having humans being able to affect Gaki and bypass, because like bypassing armor is still not, it's not the same thing as breaking the armor. But the fact that they have these bullets and they can shoot hundreds of these bullets to bypass the armor, and if you don't have an adequate enough healing factor to some degree, you're not going to really be able to do anything against these humans. The regular Titans need some sort of an upgrade. Okay, now this is what I was going to. So this scene with Dean and Val is paralleling this scene with Shay and Tevin, because we basically got the Masters. Enough of this. We were meant to help this world, and we got Leo right there crying. Wow, and Val's thing, it's crazy. Leo is preaching Shay control, and Burden Duel is teaching Val the exact opposite. You hold on to the anger of his youth and the rage he lives by in his prime. Bro, that's such a powerful line, bro. You held on to the anger of his youth. I mean, he never truly let go of what happened to his parents. He never let go of what happened to Andrea. He never let go of what happened to himself. And then the fact that God reset everything, and now his purpose is still not over. His pain is still not over. He's using that same rage to drive him forward, and we kind of get that hint in season 2, and it ultimately it doesn't show itself in season 3, which is kind of making me wonder what's making him do this 180. I can see a Leviathan telling him, but not anything outside of that. And I'm hardly on a Leviathan actually showing up. Maybe a dead Leviathan. And I'm cool with a Leviathan carcass. We don't need to necessarily get it as a talent or anything, since Andrea's weapon is made from the Leviathan. I'd be cool if it was just like a Leviathan corpse. Like the thing that they... Like if we see them trying to mine the Leviathan corpse, and try to see if they can create a pseudo talent weapon or a vessel for a talent to dwell in, that'd be fire. Or even if we get a thing where it's like each scale of the Leviathan is a defensive aspect, and it kind of goes to show how much of it'll help us scale the Leviathan itself in the story, because if we only have one scale for however many scales it takes to make well, what is it? It's not Asgear. It's not Elliot. I'm trying to think of the Leviathan scale name, but it's eluding me right now. Definitely giving me the flux right now. but it help us scale the defensive aspect to the creature in the lore of Ordeal. You feel me? Alistair. So like, let's say if the Leviathan had, they was like, oh yeah, it's thousands of scales, and she only has one. We know she's able to tank basically up to. Let me skip this ad. She's able to tank um, reinforced physical slashes from a Gaki who doesn't get tired. Meaning, because you gotta say that for Goro. You that nigga talent. He wasn't applying no pressure in regards to his talent being used when she had the three shields up. He's able to survive a non 100% Ilios. So it has big defensive aptitude. So if you multiply that defensive aptitude, or even add it based on how many scales are used, or how many scales of the Leviathan, you can definitively kind of scale the defensive aspect of that creature. And then if you scale the defensive aspect in Ordeal, it's kind of similar in regards to your understanding for the defensive aptitude is just as similar to your understanding as of your offensive aptitude of your chi. Meaning, if you don't know what you're doing in regards to manipulating your chi, you're gonna burn out quick. Just like anybody using rock armor is gonna burn out quicker than someone who's not. Just like anybody using the big ability should have an understanding or should have the aptitude to learn a more intricate technique like rock armor. So I think that'd be like the perfect thing for us to kind of like scale, even if it's like giving us like general information. We can have our fun as the community to scale that creature to different talent weapons. Because personally, this is not a talent weapon, but it's kind of is moving towards the whole curse thing, the whole curse chi verboten thing. Like personally, when I was analyzing the Shay versus Widow's Night fight, I'm looking at the fight, and it's really apparent that yeah, you get a big boost from being absorbed by the curse. The curse is gonna add on to what you have, or even multiply it, because if we take into account that Rajani is a human, right now Rajani is doing just as good as Leif against Shay. Granted, he is restricted, so I'm gonna scale a little bit down, but she's essentially scaled herself up from only being basically enveloped by that curse for only a few minutes, from a normal human, weaker than Brandon, weaker than obviously Ian, weaker than Captain Shoddy and Sergeant, you know what I'm saying? Captain Revolver and Sergeant Shoddy, weaker than all the Greyhounds, you know what I'm saying? Weaker than the police officers who got beat up by the Titans and flung off the roof in season 1. Regular human, no combat experience, automatically scaled up to around Titan General. I don't see no Titan beating this current version of Widow's Night with Rajani. No Titan whatsoever. You can have Future Sight, all that. I don't see no Titan whatsoever beating her. And I'm not even taking into account the aspect of the curse being able to invade its another host and consume a different person. I'm not even taking that into account, but just strictly off what we see with her versus Restricted Shay. She scales to about Titan General right now, in my opinion. So what do you guys think about that? Would the scaling for curses be kind of that big of a jump in regards to this general scaling? Because yeah, Andrea is within the top 150, should be higher than 147, but probably still 147. Probably not even really ranked since she quit and came back. But for her to go from that 147 range to be able to compete with, let's say, Jose, about, I want to, let's say 50, top 50 range, or top 80 range, when he's not transformed. She was able to go against Leif. And what did Jay say the Tiny General range was? About 148 to 100. She was able to go up against that caliber easy when she was partially possessed. And even Shay said, I put her on home, you put her on low pillar. So just that jump, that multiplicative jump from 147 down to, let's say, 40s. Because I think Eric is 40. She's stronger than Eric. But we're giving grace here. We're giving the thing that Shay don't be giving people. We're giving grace here. So let's put her around the 40 range. Gotta give my nigga Eric some grace because he's the GOAT. You feel me? So let's put her around the 40 range. That 100 spot jump is crazy. Now, I don't know if Andrea knows rock armor. Personally, because she's Leo's daughter, I wish she would. And then it'll make her heavier weapons hit a lot harder. But even with that, if let's say she wasn't using rock armor, she was able to tank the same explosions that Shay was able to tank with the reinforcement of Thanatos' chi from Jose, as she was barely consumed by Zahar. Noragiri. Give respect where respect is due. I mean, in regards to Rajani, but I think I had Noradrea there as well. Well, I mean, in regards to Rajani. Could you elaborate? Caps Mango, how y'all feel about the situation? Because Rajani being around top 100 in regards to scaling off the Curse app is crazy, but it is still be in line with what Andrea did. And then because Riddle Knight consumes so much chi, it's not like she was going to be able to stay in that form for a very long time. So eventually, if it's a human being consumed by it, and they don't have no initial chi limit, and they're forcing themselves to become a Kimio, it's kind of like the same situation that Shay was in when he initially activated Ilios. I want to say that, but it's more of like Shay when he initially activated War State. Since it operated based off of his chi, yeah, but also the output his body could handle, which is kind of one of the qualifications for a curse being able to take someone over for a long time. Hold on. Oh, we got the joint up still. Tevin, I'm not gonna lie to you, gang. For me personally, because he didn't have a fight, he on Friar Watch. But one thing that's noticeable is Tevin do have a scar on his lip, so somebody was able to get past Rhino Hide. And maybe he had a situation like Yoran where he put his hide on other people, thus leaving him susceptible to damage, because Tevin, yeah, he had the scar on his side from an atomic slash, but we never really seen someone be able to keep Tevin injured or scar Tevin. So you got Rajani around pillar level, and you got Andrea around pillar level too. If I'm picking up what you're saying, I could be wrong. I could be dropping. Oh yeah, the Hemlock Clan members. So they're in their war outfits. Yep, a lot of y'all gonna die. Y'all bums. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then we got, you know what I'm saying, the confirmation of Jay's theory coming true. You feel me? About him believing that Masato Heart could be alive. And I want to say he put that in his 144 review. Because I don't think he put it in the Noragiri Desires review. I think he focused mostly on Malhazar, the Stone Will being the talent weapon, and the possibility of Thanatos getting it. And then in 144, he talked about the possibility of Masato being alive. But I could be tripping. I could be tripping. I could be tripping. And then Andrea was that makes sense, Jay, because Andrea was basically gonna scale to God tier level, or Gaki level, whichever one you want to compare it to, as she progressed in the curse form with Noragiri, which also shows the difference, and we also get the difference in regards to quality of Kimio when we see the guy who can only make the 5-inch blades, mailman guy who wasn't really a trained Kimio versus someone who's an actual trained Kimio, and someone who has mastery over a weapon, and Zahara could boost her as well. So yeah, it makes sense. Scaling wise, it makes sense. Curses being this way, it makes sense because it's essentially you trading your life for power. You ultimately negating your purpose or your destiny for selfishness. Whether you know your destiny or not. So sin seeming powerful, but ultimately being your downfall is the perfect depiction of curse, chi, verboten chi, and curse talents in Ordeal. And you know what I'm saying? I definitely had, you know what I'm saying? That video, Jay, you know what I'm saying? You get a mention, King. You know what I'm saying? Well, I usually mention you anyway, nigga. But you know what I'm saying? You get the mention for the thingy. You feel me? I be tapped in. You feel me? I may be in my hiding hole. You feel me? But I be tapped in, King. I don't know if you know. Your boy be tapped in, dude. Now, me remember in the comment, that's a whole different kind of worm because I do be watching when you not first get up, and I don't know who I am when I first get up. But I be like, oh yeah, that's compelling. And then try to figure out if I want to stay up. But I don't know how I want to do these videos in regards to. Oh yeah, that's crazy. That's hilarious. Shout out clips. I don't know how I want to do these videos. Whether it's one big video or whether it's like each topic be its own video. What you guys think? I'll give you guys a second to kind of like, you know what I'm saying, respond to that. I need some water. My mouth dry, motherfucker. I've been talking for like damn an hour and 8 minutes straight. It's crazy. Hold on. Okay, separate videos. Yeah, that'd probably be a lot better in regards to the workload. Because as you can see, I could talk about Ordeal and random tidbits about Ordeal for a while. So you know what I'm saying. Maybe that comes with being the YouTuber or whatever. Maybe that comes with me. If y'all notice, hold on, squirrel moment. If y'all notice, you know what I'm saying, that same wolf that we see Shay represented having that vow, and 138 and 130, 140. You know what I'm saying? I made sure to put that wolf up in there, G. I thought it'd be fire to have Shay Wolf in the background with Zahara in the foreground. And another thing I like, and I don't know if Brent is a Bleach fan, because we do get the guy named after Ichigo attack. But the king and the horse moment with Zahara, I thought that was pretty fire. I love that dialogue that we got with Zahara. One thing I wish is that we got that same dialogue with Widow's Night and Rajani. Or, more appropriately, I would say when Rajani got taken over, we got to see Widow's Night taking over the first host. Or maybe they had like some type of a dialogue that made Widow's Night come back. So at least that way, even if it's not known why it came back to public knowledge, it'd be an over meta way of allowing us to know without breaking and merging how this curse deliberately chooses to stay with this family. Can't even say talent, how this curse deliberately chooses to stay with the woman in this family. And I thought the design for Widow's Night is simplistic, but I thought it was fire. Perfect representation of an angel being stripped of his beauty. It was fire. I know that's gonna be a video one day. I just gotta find the time to make a video about the choreography. Everything is about time, basically, for me. Whether it's me, you know what I'm saying, 'cause I gotta trade something. Then it's either gonna be sleep or sleep. That's gonna be the only thing I really be trading in to do content is just sleep. 'Cause yeah, these doing audio, doing visuals, especially you gotta, you know what I'm saying, 40 hours a week. You feel me? But I'm not doing what I was doing before. When I was doing like 60 hours a fucking week, 50 hours a week and shit. I'm not doing that anymore. The green accents. Like her earrings and her armbands, they really complimented it well. I love how she kept her family colors on. I know one of these I tried to power scale the this is kind of how I conceptualize the low tier power scale in the Ordeal. Hold on. And I was thinking about making a different one. Whereas it'll basically transition from probably like blue to like red. That's what I was kind of thinking. But this is kind of how I view the general scaling for Ordeal. So I have the police officers, really the regular degular now Kimio, but a former Kimio notoriety or somebody basically out of their prime. And versus Titan Generals, as you can see, you know what I'm saying? Colors being represented by basically how many you can take on, how strong they are, etc., etc. Compatibility, how good they would do, etc., etc. So like my bad. After the Titans, we got the top 150, like low top 150, like 150, 149, 150. Being able to compete with Urahime or Kanehime, and Kanehime, yes, she's considered a Titan, but because she was able to take on a Titan, a former 150 member, I kind of consider her like pseudo in between a Titan and a Titan General, whatever you want to call that rank. That's not even really a rank, but she's stronger than a typical Titan, but weaker than the Titan General, weaker by a ton than the Titan General, obviously. So I kind of use this as a approximate scaling for how I view the different characters in Ordeal. So these are the Greyhounds. This includes all of their weaponry besides the G3 suit. That's why I said that they're kind of barely. I feel if the Greyhounds were to fight Kanehime, they would win at least 6 times out of 10. Because they was able to beat her sister. Yes, her sister doesn't have the future sight ability. But thinking about general scaling, the fact that the sister is a Titan General, and they was able to edge out a win due to technology, I got the Greyhounds barely being able to scratch Kanehime. You know, Kanehime losing to the Greyhounds, but with the G3 suit, I wanted to make sure the G3 suit also had that same power creep that it showed with him being able to lift that ugly Titan that was like an amalgamation of like body parts, the grafted Titan. I wanted it to show that feat. I wanted it to show how Brandon Inexperience was also able to keep up with Ryo Gasgon, and how Ian was also able to seamlessly take out a Titan General, or at least stalemate a Titan General in Season 1 with the prototype version of the suit. But also I wanted to represent how that power really puts a gap between the Greyhound's typical technology and what everyone else has. Pretty accurate to me in my opinion. Plus Fair put good damage on Kanehime. Oh yeah. Fair lost the fight for sure, but yeah, she definitely Kanehime was definitely bleeding out. She was not surviving that. Unless they put her in jail magically, but based on story implications, she didn't survive. Or she was driven insane. And then we got the Titan General, and we know Ryu isn't the strongest Titan, obviously. So I also wanted to represent that with showing that even with the G3 suit, I feel that Titans of Ryu's caliber is beating people with the G3 suit. And the reason that you don't see the top of Ryu's bar because this is base Ryu. And so when I do like the Planetary Destruction Ryu, maybe if I do another one of these, it'll probably be like around right here. It'll be either Ryu Titan Planetary Destruction version where you in his state form, or it may be Leif. And then I'll probably start beginning to transition the color. But I wanted to show how Ryu is basically the nomenclature or the benchmark for lower tier characters up into Titan General. And so I'm, you know what I'm saying, I may not be the best with the power scaling, but you know what I'm saying, I could do a little, you know what I'm saying, a little general scaling with a little story implications. So what you guys think about how I kind of view or conceptualize the power scaling in Ordeal in regards to the different rank of people? Since it's not really anything definitively telling us that why someone is stronger when they go from rank 130 to rank 120 or 110 or 100, besides them doing good on the mission. because I would even use this generalized scaling. Because once you get up to the top tiers, it kind of becomes less about strength and more about finesse. Like, yeah, you still have those characters that's like, oh yeah, I'm super strong. I can pull 2 stars apart. Oh, I got the power infinity in my pocket, for sure. But the whole thing about those characters is that their chi is still increased to its chi limit. I gotta go get the sus in this game. Gotta go get the sus in this game. No cap. Which is basically mean they're kind of the anomalies of the whole thing. Also matchups. Oh yeah, matchups play a real big factor. Real big factor. And that's reflective of basically any fight in Ordeal. But really, the first fight we really got where someone matchup really was basically the same with the Kofi and Konos fight. Exactly. I always say, Jay, that Jose did better while he was smaller than when he got bigger. Once he got bigger, it was just like, man, you did a lot worse. But when he was able to actually hit and run, stick and move Shay, he was actually causing Shay to be irritated because Shay knew he was stronger than him, but he didn't have the finesse that Jose had. People hardly think about matchups. It's crazy. And that kind of brings me to one of my slides that I have on here. I don't know when it's going to pass,
for 5 years.
but when it passes, I'll say something about it.
Celebrations. 5
Because
Valentine's Days. 5 4th of Julys.
People thought I
5
was crazy
Halloweens,
when I said
5
this.
Thanksgivings. And 5
But
summers.
we're gonna wait for the slide to pass just for the vibes. You feel
Through
me?
it all, your price stays the same with our 5.
People thought I was crazy when I said this. And granted, I get it. It's the Shay show. Al can't even talk. I get it. It's the Shay show. But I referenced that Jose thought in my recent Ordeal stream too, I think. See? Is that the one I fell asleep in? I know one of your recent streams, I fell asleep. I'm like, oh shit, Jay streaming. Put it on and never left my bed. This is the one I was talking about. People think Shay is beating Vatic right now. Hey man. I can't control when I go to sleep, man. I just be going to sleep. People think Shay is beating Vatic right now. And based on the feats that I've seen, I still have Vatic being able to beat Shay. And it sounds crazy. Oh, but that's when I was working? Oh, yeah. Because I know you were streaming when I was working, and then it was one of your streams. I popped in, I was saying stuff, and then I went to sleep. I woke up, my phone was hot as hell, and my mouth was up. And I said, oh, damn. It's nighttime and shit. I didn't know what was going on. But I got Vatic over Shay right now. Sounds crazy, right? Maybe I'm tripping. I could be wrong. But I have Vatic over Shay. And before I kind of get into my reasoning, because I don't really like to change the opinions of other people. Y'all can think what y'all want to think. If y'all agree, y'all disagree, It is what it is. That's what we love. We're here all in the love of Ordeal. But how do you guys feel on that? Would you say Shay is stronger than Vedic currently? Or would you say Vedic is stronger than Shay? Because Ordeal is a lot more than whoever has the bigger explosion wins. And we see that Shay and Vedic has a couple of things that determines that battle. But personally, I have again Vedic over Shay. Because the thing that Vedic did in that fight with Kofi, I think that's like basically the defining thing in regards to like super duper high tier, a peak at super high tier power scaling for Ordeal. And how you see someone wins that will ultimately kind of give a peek into how you would view the power scaling for the later portions of the series. That's why I'm kind of like honing in on it now. And since we're talking about verses, because there's still one more verses in here, I'm pretty sure y'all seen it. Based on chi and number in terms of skill, it's close. Vedic has far more skill with his talent though, while Shay has different chi assets such as purple flames and second larger chi pool. You gotta take that into consideration. I was taking that into consideration as well. And it's a few things. So let's kind of touch on it a little bit, I guess. At least kind of how I view it. Vedic essentially did a sun through moon level attack instantly. Yeah. He basically stumped Konos a layer above the center of the earth. Casually. Now the distance between the sun and the moon, and if I'm not mistaken, is what? An Earth in between? Let me look it up because I could be wrong. $30 Earths. 30 Earths between the sun and the moon. Shay had to surge his chi, get blessed by God to cut through the moon, gang. Man's had to be blessed by God to cut through the moon. So if we're still using story context as well in these fights, God is not going to bless Shay to slice through his brother, or to slice through the brother talent that he needs. So you can't even really use that. If you want to, you can. So sun through moon, it didn't even destroy the island he was on. That island was already decimated. When they got there, his equipment was still intact. So it didn't really do too much. Okuno was like, yeah, do that shit now. And he was like, all right, bet. Exactly. And that's another thing that's really another big deciding factor, is that Okunos works, Vedic and Okunos works together in order to maximize the output or their understanding of not only their talent but the situation at hand. While Mahilel takes a back seat, and even when he tries to give Shay advice, Shay doesn't really listen to him. If it's not an app, it's just approval. Hey man, that's even worse. We essentially seen this man Vatic do a Tomas. That was his version of a war state Tomas. Or if you want to scale how we see what is that? It's not the Ilios automaton wheel. No, it's automaton wheel, I think. If you want to scale how big the Ilios automaton wheel is compared to how big it is when he's in war state against Jose, you could say that's kind of similar to the output of how strong the war state is for Shay. And then you will apply that same logic to to Vatic as well. And if he's already able to essentially move the portion of the ocean that they're on in base, with that amp, it'd be just crazy. And then when you take into account what Vatic did is, I don't want to say impossible. Hold on. Okay. My bad. My bad. Now, if you take into account the environment that he was able to pull off a similar sun through moon feat, it's not the same environment that Shay was able to do it in. And by that mean, it was an environment that worked against Okino's talent. Because, yeah, we have, it's two things. They're fighting in a desert. And if we're being specific, they're fighting in Sedona, Arizona. Just based off the rock formations and the colors of the rocks. They're fighting in Sedona, Arizona. I think we get like 1% humidity here. Barely any moisture in the area. So they're fighting in an area with barely any moisture. Now tax on the heat of Tyson. Meaning water molecules don't stay solid, they evaporate. And this is kind of like a Chronos feat, and I doubt Brett will go this far, but this is nonsense science. When, how is it? Is it when water is affected by by radiation, it goes to a process that makes the water positively charged. And if I'm not mistaken, it affects the hydrogen molecule, which makes which creates a chemical imbalance, causing the water to be become toxic. So, and with this toxic water, you can damage DNA and shit of that nature. Like think of like rat water and fallout, how it damages your health. So you can essentially do that just based off the radiation. So yeah, Tyson radiation didn't affect them, and I doubt Tyson radiation would affect Shay either, since he's already holding nuclear levels of chi in his hand. But the whole thing about it is it affects the water. So with a place with 1% to 0% moisture, you're in the middle of the desert, so you can really say 0% moisture. On a sunny day, and our weather out here ranges between like, if it depends on what time of year, but let's say they did it in the summertime for shits and giggles. We can go from 100 to 120 degree weather. So supercharged that, let's say about 160 in that area alone, 180 in that area alone, around that range. Since he just dropped multiple mini nukes in one area. So let's say 200. Let's say 200 degrees in that specific spot. Okinos, well, in Vatic, was able to convert steamed, damaged water molecules, water molecules, back into a liquid state. Keep it solidified in a heated, intense, irradiated area that barely has any water in it to begin with, and have it scale higher and destructive output than the attack that Yorn used to sacrifice his life. Going to show that Vatic has some of the highest, not only chi control, but with the help of Okinos has some of the highest understanding of their talent. And with being able to go from a small scale attack like a simple spear thrust to converting that spear thrust into a giant portion of a horse that reaches into the atmosphere casually without losing any breath whatsoever. I would say would scale you already above Shay. Like with my Is Shay Planetary video, I said that Shay, because granted, keep in mind that when you're emotionally affected, you're not able to bring out the full destructive output of your talent. But I don't think at this current point in time Shay is planetary, personally. And I don't think that Shay, because he doesn't really listen to Mahalil Combat. That synergy that Vatic and Okinos has with the vastness and the mastery of his talent that he has, they're going to be able to beat Shay. So yeah, Shay does have let's say the Curse Flame, which is going to be basically his biggest thing. You can say Tomas But just like Yuan said, Shay's not going to be able to create a Tomas that's big enough to put out what Okanos is going to be able to do, especially if they fight in an area like Trinidad on an island surrounded by water. Shay's Tomas is not going to be able to do that. Vatic is not going to even let Shay do the same level of Tomas that he did against Thanatos, just because of how his character is. And so, I think ultimately, like the biggest aspect is the curse killing flame, which makes Zahara essentially go to sleep. Is the biggest factor there. But even then, Shay doesn't necessarily have mastery of that ability for Zahara's talent. So yeah, it's a factor, but because he doesn't have mastery over it, it's not gonna be enough to stop Vatic. War State, he'll be able to compete, but then that's where the skill difference, because like Brent said in a recent interview that if all of the Cubs, and this was, if I'm not mistaken, during season 3, if all of the Cubs were to fight each other, it would be a stalemate. So, and that's not a test to Shay being weak. It's the test to Shay not really understanding or not having finesse with his talent. And if you think about all these Kimios and how they had their talents their entire lives, and it makes sense to why Shay doesn't have the same finesse that they have, but he still has a higher aptitude. And it also connects to why Jose was able to do better against Shay when he was smaller than when he was bigger. Because although Jose is stronger as the big bird version of himself, because he's not really used to being in that form, and we kind of see that with him still trying to break Shay down and then ultimately getting out speed blitz. So the same, I want to say the same, I can't think of the word right now, the same advantage that he had when he was smaller basically was the same advantage that he lost when he got bigger. And that just comes with kind of like the finesse that he was displaying while he was smaller versus the finesse he was displaying while he was bigger. And because Shay, as Jose stated, he fights like a human rather than a Kimio, also is a big telling to the gap in his experience as well. Shay likes to bait his opponents and throw out fakes so that way he can land big attacks. We've seen that be a part of his battle kit or his tactics since episode 1. So I think in a situation like this with Vatic, someone who's able to do something like that on the fly, at the same time that it took him to make a small Tomas to gather the chi and allow it to pour at one point and put a layer of chi around his flames, it took Vatic to make that huge choice. And we know Vatic and Ilios are rivals in regards to brotherly rivals. Not Naruto and Sasuke, but brotherly rivalry. They're basically kind of so close to each other that you can almost say that they're almost equal to each other. Whether you want to say Vatic is stronger or Ilios is stronger in regards to their actual talent bodies, not their host or their Kimio in this generation, but them as talents. Whether you want to say Ilios is stronger, Vatic is stronger, doesn't really matter. It's kind of like the same Zoro and Sanji situation where Yes, Zora is stronger, but they're so close that it doesn't really matter. I think Oda said that Zora would win 51 times and Sanji would win 49 times. So it's the difference is so minuscule that it doesn't ultimately matter in the end. You will have to kind of like play semantics with it, and that's why having different chemios with different mindset and different ideologies affects the way the talent is utilized. For example, if Sunrise rethought the way his talent worked, will ultimately change the way he utilizes his talent. Meaning, if he rethought what the ground was, it'll make his talent that much more powerful. So even though they was like, oh yeah, Sunrise is a master at his talent, blah 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 blah, Sunrise was a fucking noob. Alright, see ya, Clips. But yeah, I kind of got in that aspect, I got shade above Matic for sure. That's not shade above Matic, Matic above shade for sure. Man, I've been talking for a nice little minute. I don't see why. I don't really see, if you read the story and use what Brent gives you, I don't see why people will put Vatic below Shay. Similar to why I don't see why people would put Kevin below Shay. And I still have Kevin above Vatic, of course, but I don't see why they would be put below Shay. Now, I don't know who's here in chat, you feel me? Because, you know what I'm saying, your boy just been kind of just like rambling and talking just random stuff about Ordeal. But how would y'all feel the whole Yukiko versus a young Leo will go? Because some people are saying that Yukiko... Some people are saying Yukiko is losing to young Leo. Some people are saying that young Leo is losing to Yukiko. So how would y'all feel about something like that? Who would you say would be the winner in a situation like that? I don't think I've really conceptualized a matchup like that. But oh man, like you could say that that Ilios will win, will give Leo enough access to himself enough to win. Not access to himself, but would basically take over his body and allow him to win. Kind of like a cop-out win. But if I'm being honest, Kid Leo, I think he's 16 at that time, is getting stumped out by not complete. Let me reiterate: he's losing to Yukiko. I'm not gonna say stumped out, but he's losing to Yukiko from the Alpha T's fight. If I got a good understanding of the matchup and the power system, but I would probably have to wait for Jay to get back to talk about something like that. But yeah, I think I would have Child Yukiko over Leo. I have for the Sunrise and the Naki, because I never really gave my opinion on that. I would give it to Sunrise. I don't think if Nanaki enters the fight the same way he did with Shay, I don't think Nanaki's going to be fast enough to be able to touch Sunrise. We see Tevin, who's better trained than Nanaki, faster than Nanaki. Had trouble touching Sunrise at first. And so for Nanaki to have enough power to break the ground, he would have to actually ingest his blood. And if you're unable to touch him, I don't see you being able to ingest Sunrise blood to go into blood frenzy. And then we have the aspect of Sunrise being able to bypass armor with his speed, which would mean that even though he's in his shift state, a lower state of that shift talent, it would do that much more damage to him. And then even when if he gets to a bigger state, Sunrise will still have the aptitude to damage the Naki. So I would say in this case, speed trumps raw power, so I would give it to Sunrise. And Kevin's a bum still. I don't care what nobody say. Now, is there anything else that I really want to talk about with Ordeal? I would say this was a real good stream. You know, I don't really stream on YouTube like that. I usually just stream on Twitch, you feel me? I'm trying to see. I know one thing that I was going to talk about in the 150 review. Who would win, Kid Vayal versus Sabito? Versus Kid Sabito? What is this madness, bro? What are we doing here in this community? They really put this, bro. They really said who would win. Kid Vayal versus Kid Sabito. Bro, Vayal is untrained. What are we doing here, bro? Vayal is untrained, bro. He only had this performance because those Kimios is just that much weaker than his natural talent, bro. Vayal is getting stumped out by Sabito, bro. And it's not close. It's not close. Tachi Baron might perform better than Vayal in this situation, bro. Off experience, bro. I don't see Vayal beating not Tachi Baron. Vayal's beating Tachi Baron for sure. But I don't see Vayal beating Kid Sabito. He doesn't have the finesse to beat Kid Sabito, bro. Let me see. So what I want to do, what we can do if y'all want to, I think it'd be fun, is to scroll on Reddit. I think the scroll on Reddit could be fun. Just to see what the general person thinks about Ordeal. Or some of the things of Ordeal, what people's arguing, and kind of like getting a feel for the community. Because I don't really like post on Reddit or really go on Reddit for anything. But I think in a situation like this where we just chilling, where we just kind of like freestyle, we don't really have like anything we particularly are waiting for. I think a scroll on the Ordeal Reddit to see what these people be talking about out here would be hilarious. Ordeal, Webtoon, Reddit. Alright, let's go on the ordeal ready, y'all. We gonna go see. We gonna go see. Let's check the temperature. Hold on. Alright, we on the ordeal ready now, y'all. This time we just gonna put it in the middle of the screen. If I gotta make it bigger, I'll make it bigger. But I want to see what's going on. Cause my uncle was telling me that Reddit is a good place to get in touch with the general population thoughts for things. All right. What's good? I'm new to Ordeal, but I caught up, and I'm up in here, fellas. Hey man, appreciate you, fam, for joining. You fam, we just vibing right now, bro. I don't know if you wanna go back. We were just talking about Vatic versus Shay. We was talking about Nanaki versus Sunrise. That's the ninja guy from season 1 versus the shark guy from season 1. We was talking about young Leo from the season 1 finale versus Yukiko. You know what I'm saying? We talked about a lot, man. Can't even chat with you. But welcome, bro. Welcome. I do Ordeal content. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? We do we talk about like a lot of character analysis, a lot of small things about the series. You feel me? It's a ton of content up here. Why is Shay so much taller in season 3? Cartoon character. Now, Brent did say this because one of the responses was pretty cool. I believe that Brent said Big Four could technically control their height. That's why Kevin and Vatic are like 8 feet tall. But I also wouldn't be surprised if someone said if his growth was stunted when Thanatos was taking out his body, considering how beat up his body was in the first few chapters, then healed immediately after he got Ilios. Now, I would say it's more rather the latter, him being stunned because he didn't have a talent when he was supposed to. Brent already said that Shay rejected the notion of appreciate the birthday wishes. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you. Brent already said that Shay rejected the notion or the idea of getting taller, like 8 feet tall and shit already. So Vonnie, you said you new to Ordeal. What questions do you have about Ordeal? What do you like about Ordeal? What made you fall in love with Ordeal? You feel me? Because you said you caught up, so you know what I'm saying. Talk to me, Kane. What's going on? Traveling Merchant, how your day going? Hold on, I done lost the Reddit page. I'm everywhere but the Reddit page. Okay, they're talking about bodily growth. Yeah. I don't plan on going down the bodily growth route. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't care enough. I don't care enough to be like, this nigga's 3 inches taller. Magnifying glass. I'm not doing that, bro. Okay, 4 days ago. The other grade 4 needs a spotlight. And seeing how Vatic gets stronger around water and he's still that strong in the middle of a desert, and must have a lot to show. And Kevin is Kevin. Kevin's a drunk. Hey man, we already know about Kevin, man. But hey, this was one of the points that I was making about the Shade versus Vatic fight. I would say Kono's probably not gone forever, but yeah, Vatic and Kevin are seemingly too powerful for them to really do anything on Earth without causing massive damage to either the environment or people. One thing I do love is that they're saying that Konos wouldn't be gone forever, and I would love that because that'll make my Halil story come full circle with his parents telling him to take care of his pet. But it also kind of give it that old yellow feeling, or the Mouse Amongst Men feeling, where Shay's gonna use the curse killing talent for Zahara to kind of kill Combs. That'd be fire. Dub Anton art. Who wins? This is that post we was talking about, bro. I don't see why they think this young untrained this young untrained Val has the same finesse as Sabito. This man Val has been alive for almost 900 and something odd years at that point, and he basically had to retreat from a 30, 40 something year old man. Bro, how do y'all think that this man is going to be able to compete with a child prodigy that's only compared to the Great Four as an adult? Ilios War State. Hold on, let's talk about this. As we're entering season 4, which will be a time skip, I'm rather curious if we ever be having another redesign of the War State. I personally hope so, as I'm not a fan of the crop top armor part. Azam can go and fix your boy fit. We need that chainmail shirt back. Also, do you think we'll ever see base Ilios stay exposed muscle performer, or it is only accessible to those who can't contain the Ilios power? That's what it is right there. It's not those who can't contain the Ilios power. That's a misconception. It's those who don't have mastery over Ilios power, or in regards to 100% of Ilios power. We see Leo. He had mastery over Ilios, but his body itself could master all of Ilios. But to the same thing I just said before, that he had full control over Ilios and still his skin was burned. No. Mastery. But the crop top looks great. I don't think we'll ever see exposed muscle of Ilios State again, as Val and Green Ward said that Shay passed the test, Kevin failed. In regards to mastering the talent, Leo has also mastered Ilios, but the damage was limited to the surface of the skin instead of revealing bone, tendons, and like Shay. Body growth is so high by this point that he'll never be able to handle the flames of Ilios again. Y'all know what you're talking about, gang. We leaving this. Y'all saying anything. Kevin Morales Ordeal versus Naruto Uzumaki in Boruto. Kevin Morales versus Naruto Uzumaki from gang. This nigga splitting stars, gang. A nigga who can punch a moon versus a nigga who can pull 2 stars apart, gang. Momoshiki and them, but you can call them planetary if you wake them. They ain't blow up no planet. This nigga didn't restrict himself when he was fighting Naruto in that stadium. He didn't even blow up the leaf. And you wanna put this nigga against the nigga who's pulling out the sun, my nigga? Bro, Boruto Naruto is getting cooked, bro. Stop it. I don't know what are we doing here? Lewis versus Obito Uchiha. Has the community fallen this low just because we haven't got Ordeal in a long time, gang? Did we fall this low? We just scrolling through Reddit. Hold on. We just scrolling through Reddit. I just had to turn that down because I just noticed it was really high. We just scrolling through Reddit, seeing people generalized opinions. So how would you feel? What is your 2 things, Jay? First, Vatic versus Shay. Who you got? Second, end of season 1, Leo. That's episode 44. Like 16-year-old Leo versus current Yukiko. Who you got? I'll tell you my answers after. You tell me yours. I kind of already said my answers in the stream, so this is kind of make it a little bit more fun. But I gotta use the restroom, so that'll give you enough time to give your response and why. I got free roll up in my pocket. Yeah. Alright, so just give me a second, y'all. Your boy too old to be having bladder problems. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not holding my bladder. phone this entire time, boy. Phone was hit this entire time. Crazy. Oh, so you just got off? Oh, snap. Sucker now. Sucker now, man. Just got off work. Love to see it. Another Idio State design will be born. Yeah, we don't really need the Idio State design. I see. It's not really warranted, to be honest with you. We don't need something like that. Oh, a Zon time skip. Okay, so he stopped taking care of himself. He went full on. I don't wash my ass. Okay. That means Abijah, he's still working. Not working for K.O.D.E, but working in with the same goals aligned with K.O.D.E. This is fire. Cause I'm only saying that because he's alive. Abijah says he's putting down special. What is this? Special squads ready to get one tap. Yeah. It's crazy how we basically get how battle tactics work in group settings for Ordeal. And it's reflective in both the downfall of the 4 pillars and the downfall of the 7 lightheads, which is to take out the person who is the defensive wall for the team, and then just basically, since their teamwork is based off the defensive wall still being there to back them up when needed, it makes the team fall apart and makes the synergy not as powerful as it was before. Okay, we got a Masato one. Okay. They're not talking about anything. I don't like that one. Vatic, Anton. I wonder if they have anything good or anything that's worth talking about with Dean. Interesting this whole time is part of his flashback. Makes sense. Val seems more emotional considering he only has been with Verdun Duel for a few years, so seeing Dean still hits. It's probably after that he becomes more cold-hearted. Huh. So that was pretty surface level. Let's try something else. I'm pretty sure animals can have talents. The talent can produce or amplify animals versus via chi and or chemio can be born as animals-like creatures, non-humans. The only evidence I have for this is the giant dogs that Shay's dad killed when he and May were ambushed by Val. The Great Four animal mounts along Sybaris, though as someone replied, is an amped creature connected to the talent, which is my point, alongside the Leviathan scale sword that Andrea has. These are 2 examples, but I forgot, and I hope to explore that a bit more. Wonder what it's like to be a Chemio who is completely non-human, and not only body but mind, to have a talent where you're simply not a person explicitly. Yeah, I never thought about how it felt to be Cujo in talent form, my nigga. I'm not gonna lie to you. I never was just like, gee, I wonder how it felt to be a snail who can produce slime for it. I never felt that. Maybe because I want the actual characters that's not Shade to get more shine. But I never was just like, yeah, gang, we need to know what a snow bunny with ice powers look like, bro. We don't really need to know that, bro. Certain things in the Ordeal can just be assumed. I guess if Brent wants to do something like that, it'd be through the Oduzo guy. The Oduzo guy. It'd be through his brother. Okay, just got off. Happy birthday, my guy Shay. He has 2 definitive win cons over Vatic, Purple Flames and Thanatos Chi stamina. Leon Yukiko is interesting because he has more skill while she should have more raw power scaling wise. That's crazy. I said Yukiko had more skill and Leo had more power. And for Vatic versus Shay, I still got Vatic over Shay. Just due to skill. Like the curse killing flame is a thing. Don't get me wrong. That's kind of like the only deciding factor for the Vatic fight. But I think just due to skill that Vatic will be able to pull that win off. And it kind of sounds like a cop out, cause I gave a generalized location like Trinidad. You feel me? Since they're always fighting there, so I just said they fought in Trinidad. And Vatic is surrounded by water. If he's able to do all of that, because I in the stream earlier I kind of broke it down where we talked about how the typical Arizona summer day starts between 100 to 120 degrees, plus it being irradiated, plus the heat. So I roughly speculated after the nuke went off for Tyson and they all pulled up, we can roughly say about 200 degrees, roughly, right? Ballpark estimate. With all of the water basically already being non-existent, between 0 to 1% moisture in the air, humidity, since they're in Arizona. Meaning Vatic had little to no water, literally, to work with, and he was still able to pull that feat off. What he did, with what we see with his character trait, he's not gonna allow Shay to do any big moves. And the same, because Shay tries to supplement the lack of skill with overwhelming force, while Vatic basically has both. And so, since Shay also is steady for some reason to stalemate with the Cubs, they had a 4-way fight. Still, I wouldn't really put him that much higher above them in regards to, not in regards to strength, because we clearly know this nigga is basically within the top 10 for strength, for sure. But in regards to finesse with his talent, I'll put him around there in regards to finesse with his talent. But I will put Vatic still top 10. You want to see Anton the most? How come? Because you know if you get your Anton showcase, he's cooked, right? Like, the moment we get our genuine Anton showcase, he might be cooked. Okay. Comments explain YouTube. See, I was trying to see, you know what I'm saying, if my dog was going to be mentioned there. Okay, I like this. The color scheme, same red they used for the ashes of the father. And also the same red we see being used when they were doing the transition for Lewis, when he was in the Ashen Knight form, or the Death Stance. See, I don't really have much to say about Elon at this current point in time. I'm not an Elon fan. I'm not gonna say I have. Fuck it, I'm gonna say I don't have no stock in that nigga. None. Zero. Zilch. The Hemlock clan died with Lewis. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Hemlock clan died with the Backout Bandit. So it's been 3 months since Ordeal. We probably get to see more Vatic backstory. Shay fused with the verse, except God, aka Yahweh versus anime. What are you talking about? What is this? Hey, this is how far would Shay get in the amalgamation of anime posts? Bro, what? I don't think this is the end of Konos. Spoilers, technically. Brent isn't holding it back with these character designs. It looks like they all donned the same green as the Elder's Mantle. Maybe this is could be a replacement for the pillars. And then they don Shay's green. only way I'll be cool if they're like an entirely different group is if they're fleshed out. I don't want to have another like Pillar or Seven Cold Head situation. I'm curious about something. Do you think the gem on May's forehead is an accessory or a part of her talent? A part of her because of her talent. Okay, let's look at this. Yeah, these are just like random ass like theories and things like that. But I feel like these are the things that really make me love Ordeal. It's not the how strong is Shay compared to Boruto, how strong is this guy compared to this guy from his anime character, how far do Shay get? None of that shit interests me. I'm not gonna lie to you. If Ordeal was cut and dry like that, I wouldn't even love it. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like even Anton having his whole emotional moment and him trying to kind of like fight the tears when talking to Ross, where he's kind of put on Front Street about how he's been avoiding things or disconnecting from situations just so he can deal with them. Like even like things like that really make me love it. Yukiko does something more impressive scaling wise than what we see Leo do and be able to replicate what he did. So I give that more raw power. Plus, she has manifested Same, which adds to that. True. Okay, I see it. And when is Kevin gonna do something? I know he is unstable but kind of dumb, and introduced him to have him do nothing. When is he gonna do something? I don't know. What might he do? Kevin's one of them characters, bro, you really can't have on Earth. He's too strong for him to really be in the story, bro. Especially when... My bad. The boy had to eat his candy. Especially when we don't even see Thanatos doing anything to that tier. So, Kevin kind of has the same thing we see with Anton, where he's too strong to really be utilized the way Brent wants to utilize him. I got Elon Stalk. I love a good legacy character. Hey man, he don't got no character to me right now. I know more about the little Niecy inside the convenience store than I do Elon right now, bro. But Elon's speech, that was top tier. That was top tier. Man, in the words of Smokey Mama, making it up. So, how would you feel if for us to get Kevin fight, what it would do to the power scaling would mean that people would have to get relatively stronger or as strong as Kevin to be able to compete with the top tiers. So for the power creep to continue to make sense, Kevin can't be in right now. At his max, he's pulling stars apart. He can't be in the story right now, guys. Our max right now for the Wolf Cubs, which is the main character for the story, is slicing the moon in half. Gang, we're nowhere near that star pulling out the territory. It wouldn't even make. I will be pissed off if I come back and Yukiko, goddamn, pulls out a slash that hits Pluto, and then makes Pluto even more colder because of Hasama. That would make no fucking sense. That would make we're just doing things now. Now we're hitting that Dragon Ball. We're not hitting Dragon Ball Z in terms of power scale. We're going straight to Dragon Ball Super in regard to the power creep, and I don't think most people would enjoy that in regards to. I don't think the power scaling community for Ordeal, whoever's a part of that, would enjoy that aspect of Ordeal. Then we'll get a lot more complaints. I disagree, but Brent said he was already introducing God tier level characters. You gotta introduce them first. That's my whole thing. If it's characters that's relative to that, and then it's gonna be a while before the top tiers get to it, cool. But if we're gonna keep getting the same way the story is paced, where the top tiers are basically getting not top tier, the main cast is getting 70% of the story time, then they would have to grow to those characters. I mean, you have to be able to conceptually see how their talents can grow up to that range. Like we can conceptually see how far Hasame can go. Hell, we can speculate on Anton. We can't really speculate on Azam right now, or Yukiko with how far their talent will go. And as Brent be like, Azam has the best haste talent in the series, outside of Kevin, I guess. Or yeah, I guess I wouldn't really consider Kevin haste though. It'd be like power haste, I guess. Since all haste talent derived from him, but he's more of a power type than the haste talent. And Brent also needs to have more of the same character fights that he had before. Could you elaborate on that? Cause I love the fight story deal, but I love when it's a clash of philosophies. That clash of philosophy really makes those fights more impactful. I appreciate you. And good morning is crazy, nigga. It's 9:16 at night. But appreciate the birthday wishes, family. Your boy getting old, man. Your boy getting old. No cap. So I would enjoy if it's something like that, Jay, if we spend time away from the main cast. Alright, I'm on the West Coast, bro. Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, fam. So it's 9 o'clock here. Bro, more than one fight? For sure. And the fact that Tevin, and that doesn't really sit right for me, because I I would have gave it a little bit more grace if Tevin would have gotten over his PTSD from the Ryu fight, but he hasn't even gotten over his PTSD in season 3 for the Ryu fight. So for him to have that, not get any fight, and then for us to get a 7-year time skip where we know that Tevin is going to basically become God tier, when Brent already wrote a training arc. Now, how do you guys feel about Shay's training arc in season 2? Like comparing it to like Naruto's Rasen Shuriken, Goku at Kami's Lookout, or Luffy and Rayleigh's training, um, Yusuke and Genkai's training. How would comparing it to those? Because I'm comparing it to Shonen training arcs because it's a Shonen battles as story, so that's why I'm using Shonen. More or less perfect. The only thing I would say, um, that would have made it perfect for me is to understand the manipulation of chi. Other than that, I agree with you. It didn't stay longer than what it needed to. It hit the points that it needed to. It gave us a deep love for Yorn to make the sacrifice even bigger. It gave us Yorn's as a character and how he views life to differentiate him from the god tier that we get this season, which is Reed. He doesn't fit the same checklist as Jorn, but we got almost as much character development or character insight into his character as we did with Yorn. I liked it, but I wish it was more fleshed out. Why? What would you have done differently in this case? Because all of us are not writers for Ordeal. You know what I'm saying? In regards to being published by Webtoons. You know what I'm saying? Jay got his story, which I pray is associated with Ordeal in some sort of official capacity in some way or another. I don't really have a story. I'm really busy. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, bro. I'm busy. Anytime that's not spent making content is me sleep. But if I'm not making content and I'm not sleep, I'm at work. So essentially, I'm on that Brent schedule. It just takes me a long time to produce videos because I want to make sure that each video is better than the last. So I spend some days editing. I spend some time looking at bigger content creators' videos, seeing how they're doing their scripting, subject matter, editing, keeping the eyes peeled, things like that, you feel me? So I always want to make something better than the last. And I feel like right now I'm at a point where I could, the style that I used for the last video, granted I forgot to put tags on it, the file, hey man, be like that sometimes. But the joint I used for the last video is probably going to be my editing style going forward for a while. But yeah, Brent progressed too fast through the S rank. Would have loved to see Andrea Pierce. Yeah. Not knowing how they are ranked after 3 seasons is a crime. Exactly. And then if we use the Cubs being ranked as a base, their ranks is because their contributions to the war. And if we look at that contribution to the war, they're just like, oh yeah, Tevin, we seen you scrapping with Kagaya. We seen you scrapping with Kagaya. Yeah, that's about 120 something. Oh, Yukiko? You getting trained by Tevin and Lewis? Oh yeah. You S rank. We just don't know what number you is yet. You haven't gotten your first mission. You didn't give us no first mission success yet. Then you got Anton. He's like, yeah, bro. You the reason why we didn't completely fail the Greenland War. You top right now. And then you got Kofi. Oh yeah, man. You make big explosions. You go boom. You like a nuke. Yeah. You number one outside the talent, bro. What is going on here? Where is the nomenclature? Where is the stat? What is the benchmark for these S ranks, bro? Please, Brandon. Please. We just need it, bro. I think. Right. Hear me out. How would you guys feel if when Tevin, before we get an arc, right? This is just like, well, I can't even whistle. What to do? This is like super out there. But how would y'all feel if before Tevin officially becomes God tier, we get a tournament arc to determine the next God tier? And for this to happen, all the God tiers damn near will have to be dead. God tiers in the Royals will damn near have to be dead. But we get an S rank tournament to see who the next 10 God tiers are going to be, or however many spaces we have left. And in this flashback or current situation, we get different lessons that Leo taught Tevin and the other students. Because we can't apply, Shay wouldn't be able to apply the same lessons that the others apply because he didn't have any powers at the time. So he wouldn't really be able to conceptualize that information, you feel me? It wouldn't really apply to him. So the training would have to be somewhat different. And so we see how Tevin masters all of Leo's teachings, which will also support Leo having, yes, a hand in the God tier from the last generation, but also how he put that very trust into the Cubs to become the next protector of this generation. Attorney mid-war, it depends if he's God tier or not. It could be a flashback. Because you can have minor skirmishes or whatever the case may be. But the war really don't start until the big skirmish really actually start to kick it off into that. You feel me? And so during war, yeah, it'd be weird. That's what I said. It could be a flashback. It'd probably be better if it's a flashback. If we're gonna just do the 7 years and Tevin's already a God tier, that'd be cool. But I would love to have a actual tournament arc, since we have all these top 10s, top 20s, pillar level, top 100, hidden components to talents, different aspect of chi, whether it's offensive or defensive. Goddamn, top 150 members competing with top 10 members. We have all this conflict in the power scaling of Ordeal in regards to the difference between 150 and number 1. That a tournament involved with them would kind of be better. I think this idea would fit better, seeing Tevin on a mission and hammering home Azam's successful mission idea. It's crazy because I feel like that successful mission idea is what's harming, not necessarily the story or anything like that, or is what's making these characters get affected so bad by what they're going through. Like that's a real toxic mindset where it's like, oh yeah, you get more confident with success. Yeah, for sure, that's definitely true. But when you don't know, I think since they hammered home success, they should hammer home failure this time. It's too late for a code-related attorney? Hey, man. We got a Valve flashback in the middle of a Valve getting pushed to a wall. we got a Valve flashback with him pouting. You feel me? So, yeah. But again, it's still a possibility. Because of Plan Armageddon, I don't even know if they finished that plan or not. So, it's still a possibility. I would love to have a tournament arc and Ordeal. I don't rate Pillars much over regular S ranks after what was showcased this season. Came in just to say happy birthday, man. Hey, all great Nike, man. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate the love, man. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you coming through. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Appreciate all the in-depth comments you be leaving you on the videos. Appreciate you watching. When I would say when I drop a video a week, but you know what I'm saying? When I'm able to sacrifice that video, that sacrifice my sleep to be able to edit and do everything to drop a video. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, bro. Okay. But yeah, it's definitely too late. But nonetheless, selfish desire. I would love to see a tournament arc. At least that way. That'll be, I'm not going to say the quickest, but the best way we could kind of like fit all the information, not only about the power system into one, the scaling as well into one. And I think I seen the post that said like, oh yeah, the Titans are getting the new upgrade, woo woo. They're gonna have chi inside their suits or something like that. I was just like, okay, bro, what? Or was it the Greyhounds? Somebody was getting the upgrade where they was gonna have chi inside their suit, and I'm just like, bro, what? If these humans get these suits and they got chi in them, and we don't get no explanation on how this power from the soul can be put into technology, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was giving you the chat pass with the chi bullets because chi is what did you want to say? Chi emanates off the soul, and being able to use your talent is a result of that. So we just getting loose chi. Are we gonna get a goddamn a talent G3 suit? We just out here talent G3 suiting now. Goddamn Widows G3. Nora G3. Now, I'm not gonna say that Brent can't pull off a design like that. That'll be fire. But when we start looking at the aspects of the story, it's possible. We know that the talents can choose what object, like what Ross say, that like a water hose being able to produce water on its own. Hey man, it was like that. Gonna go wake up my pops for a ride at work, take care of Nara. Hopefully he put some work in the Tekken. Boy, I haven't played Tekken in months. I've been playing Street Fighter. I've been playing Street Fighter, man. I can't lie to you. I haven't played Tekken in months. The moment I haven't customized the character, I deleted that shit. Hold on. Oh, my bad. I had to get my niece a tablet. Okay, let me see. Now, let me go back to chat. Woo woo bop. Now, one for the express purpose of determining God tier, I would say I do have a tournament style arc in my own story after 7 year time, but it fits because it's unrelated to K.O.D.E and the Grander War. I'm a roast Brent. I'm a roast Brent. It's crazy. Hey, man. As season 3 went on, Jay, I've been hearing you saying a lot of I'm a roast Brent. It's crazy. Man, really out here roasting our mangaka, G. What did our mangaka do to you, King? And this man think I'm playing Tekken out here. What's going on here? Man, Reddit is really just like a cesspool. I'm not really finding anything like worthy. Bayal versus Utah? Just realized that Konos technically now has access to the Okinos in Kong Talent. Y'all got a game. Who wins, Sabito or Konos? Hey man, I don't know. Hopefully somebody make a video on that. Does anyone think that Hemlock and Insomniac clans could have had history together? Reference. Brent art style is changing. It's definitely changing a lot from season 3. With season 3 done for Fast Pass, what are some of your hopes and wishes for season 4? Let's look at that. More of a show, not tell situation. Ordeal monologues are sometimes a bit too long during fights, which I sometimes just skip over. It's best to sometimes show things. What the fuck is y'all talking about? What? And that's the problem with Ordeal right now. Bro, what is going on here? What is going on here, bro? I'll read it out loud in case y'all can't see it. Maybe I can make it bigger for y'all too. Maybe that'll help. Okay, y'all can see it. This man wrote this first one. More of a show, not tell situation. Ordeal monologues are sometimes a bit too long during fights, which I sometimes just skip over. It's best to sometimes show things. So how are you gonna show why they're fighting? That's my question. How are you gonna show why they're fighting? Yeah, we can easily say, oh yeah, they're on the opposing sides. But what makes what makes the fights compelling? Yes, Brent can draw his ass off. Yes, we all know that. We all know that. Yes, he can do some good choreography. Yes. But what makes them fights compelling? What makes those fights memorable? What makes those fights that one step towards larger than life is the philosophy in those fights. It's not the fight itself. Our problem doesn't stem from Brent showing us, because during the fight Brent shows us, but our problem is that, and I could be wrong on this, Brent expects us to read his mind too much. He expects us to look at the finer details to know what's going on, and sometimes he expects for us to just turn our brain off, right? But what he needs to understand is, whenever we learn more about chi, whenever we learn more about anything in the aspect of power in Ordeal, it's in conflict. And I don't know if that's kind of like one of those things where it's up to each individual author, and maybe I'm just assuming. I'm not trying to put my own personal anecdotal experiences. You feel me? Because my own personal anecdotal experience also interpret how I view the story. You feel me? And why I love certain characters more, or why I feel that, for example, me doing the video on Connie and Urahime being misunderstood, why I enjoy the more of the character analysis portion of the story. Like, you have to yes, some things are short, show not tell. But when you want to have a definitive, this is what you go for, you have to tell us, bro. Prime example. Prime example. Rock armor during the Jose fight. If Brent did not put rock armor dialogue boxes in that fight showing that Shay used rock armor in that moment, bro, we would be thinking Shay just right there aura farming, bro, off the Thanatos cheat, bro. Not even off the Ilios cheat, bro. If we wouldn't have the context to know, okay, this is a high tier technique. And so when we go back, because Brent confirmed that Rokash has rock armor, when we go back and see why Rokash, without using his actual talent at the time or any other defensive aspect of his time at that time, was still able to tank multiple attacks from Tevin and Shay, grabbing Ilios flames, even with his natural defense to or resistance to fire to some degree, whatever degree. But even with that, we wouldn't be able to go back and reconceptualize earlier fights to give more credence to why was the character doing this, or why was the character this weak in this situation where he clearly performed better than characters later on in the story. And when we have things like that, it fills in plot holes in the fighting aspects and the power system aspect of the story by itself, without us having to do the mental gymnastics to do it. Because we could say that Rokash has it literally because he trained with Leo and Leo taught it to him. And so that also makes him not giving his defensive aspect to his nephew not that big of a deal, because he still has the defense of rock armor. Getting the building dropped on him. We've seen Kimios get hurt by way less. Man's got hit with lightning, and the only thing he did was cough up blood because it's an internal attack as well as external, but still didn't have any noticeable marks of getting hit by the thunderclap. And then I know Jay just brought up something. Give me a second here. Definitely feels like we asked him questions he assumes we knew already. Hey man, like nigga, you ain't put that info in the series. You ain't put it in there, nigga. We had to assume. No cap, Jay. Like Azam being faster than Rokash in season 3. When the fuck when did that happen? Wait, I know I didn't miss no dialogue box. I know I didn't miss no dialogue box. This man faster than Rokash now? And I'm not saying he should have been faster than Rokash. He's a fucking haste talent. But like, things like Jin's burst of speed versus Azam constant speed. Jin can surpass light speed for a moment to eject himself out the timeline, and then slow himself down to go back into the timeline. Where Azam can just move at a constant pace. Difference between two haste talents shown through art, not told to us. That Jose comment was on Discord. Hold on. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm missing something. I know you were saying something about the Jose comment was on Discord, because I know you said something about Jose Chi. Oh, and the Jose comment could have been put into his talent. Bro, oh my god, let's talk about it, bro. I want to talk. Do I have a picture of this nigga? Jay, can you send me a picture of Jose? The one where he's like looking into the orb. Or, matter of fact, no. The one where he's like laying inside the chi. Like, Appreciate you, King. Cause I want to make a point, bro. These niggas in this community, they be saying anything, bro. They be saying anything. I be in the TikTok streets. Now I need to go back to posting on TikTok, but I wasn't posting like, oh, this is hype. This is blah. I was posting more like small little things, like my favorite environmental shots, my top 10, my top 5 characters, etc., etc. Like little, like if you love Ordeal, little things about Ordeal that you'll love. You feel me? But what I do need to practice on, cause I don't know if I do it well enough. You guys can let me know. Don, I don't know if Nike's still here. Is I need to learn how to spoon feed my thoughts to you guys. My brain works 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I don't know if you guys can tell with this live stream, but yeah, my brain works 1,000,000 miles an hour. So, that's why in my videos it's a lot of me talking about callbacks, talking about this, talking about that, it's because I don't want to just lead you down the chaos that is my brain, rather than providing guardrails so you know, okay, so this is how he got to this point, versus me just like, yeah, and this and this and this and this. All right, bet. My goat. So all right. Now the first one we're going to analyze. I'm going to give my perspective and then enjoy the content. I almost shitting on myself, boy. You boy can't be telling me that on my video. So what I was thinking for this channel, because I know it takes me a while to do videos, what I was thinking was I could do my notes. I could do a stream where I do my notes. You know, go through the chapter again, do my, because I got to do it anyway. I know I did it for my first time on the K.O.D.E archive stream, but I don't know if you guys want me to make that like a regular thing. That way, when the episode drops, I won't do it the day the episode drop, obviously, because I do my reactions when the episode drop, upload it there, then I take my ass to bed, and then I could do it probably when I get out of work the next episode, you feel me, or the next day, and start gathering my notes, because that's usually when I start doing the brainstorming portion. Okay, hold on. Alright, first, I'm going to see if I can do it like how I do my videos. Hold on. I know I'm not going to... Now, we're going to talk about first. Okay. Now, first, I thought it was the weight of unquantifiable stars. And then I started leaning more into the unquantifiable portion. Kind of thinking that it doesn't actually have a weight. Like, it works with imaginary numbers you use to explain situations where numbers aren't big enough for. And then I seen Shay break out of it, and I know Shay isn't as strong as Kevin at that time, and so it had to have a specific weight. So me and Jay got to chopping it up, and so Jay ends up sending me this screenshot. Now, I'm not going to show the screenshot yet because I want to talk about how people on Reddit and on TikTok specifically view Jose. They're saying Jose is basically top 2. They saying Mr. Martinez is top 2. Now, I don't see any evidence nowhere in this story that would indicate this man being top 2 of anything. So, hold on, I got you. I got the perfect image to depict my madness in this situation. I got y'all. Don't even trip. Okay. Because I really want to drive this point home. Just so y'all know I'm serious. I'm like super duper serial right now. Okay, let me see. Bob. No, it's still not right there. That's relatively weird. I should be able to search image. 11 maybe? I doubt this is it. Okay, well if I put it in here. Put it in there. Says for 148. And that motherfucker don't exist. That's crazy. That crazy right there. Crazy work. Crazy work right there. Alright, nonetheless. It seems it doesn't like me right now. It seems like the tech is in techery at this current point in time. Psych. Yeah. Y'all thought I was playing. Now y'all in my theory now. See, it's too late. Y'all here now. Okay. So now people on TikTok is saying, bro, that this man, these are stars, right? These are stars. And they're saying that the void that Jose filled, if they used AI to calculate the different stars which represent different solar systems and different galaxies, that Jose filled 200 to 300 galaxies worth of chi. Now, my nigga, what the fuck story is y'all reading? Y'all don't hear me often curse on this channel. If y'all want me to, you know what I'm saying, wild out, wooty woo, y'all gotta go to my Wolf Nari page where I do the Ordeal reactions and shit. But what the fuck is y'all reading, gang? For y'all to deliberately just say, yeah, 200 to 300 galaxies. Where Kevin, Max Power is pulling apart 2 dying stars to stop a black hole from making. This Captain Chicken is 200 to 300 galaxies in strength in chi. My nigga, what are we doing here? 200 to 300 galaxies, gang? The most you can say not even stated to be in the galaxy, unlike something like Kaguya's dimension in Naruto. Exactly. which had its own. It wasn't even like a pocket universe like Kaguya's dimension, which had its own like solar system, galaxy, because it was a pocket dimension that she was about to literally create another universe from. The most you can say about this feat is he put himself into the essence of his talent, or essentially made a physical manifestation of his chi limit. And so similar to how we see with Hanzo, after he gets his chi limit increased and he's able to break his seal, the seal that's based off his original chi limit, it's the same thing. That the amount of chi that he has access to is bigger than his initial chi, which caused him to shift into a form that is self-reflective of the amount of chi that he outputted. Which is why, although he was in a bigger form, Shay in his war state was able to wave off that same unquantifiable weight based off of his own chi limit, which is now expanded due to the chicken form, was able to wave it off in war state, making it consistent. This 200, 300 galaxy shit, come on my nigga. Come on my nigga. We can't keep doing this game. Not even stated to be a galaxy. Okay. Now, let's bring up Brent's statement to give this more credence. Hold on, I'm trying to do the thingy real quick. Now, Jay sent me this months ago. I want to say about 4 to 5 days. No, not 4 to 5 days. I want to say it may have been 4 to 5 days, because this is before his review for the chapter even dropped. And so, let's talk about it, okay? Let me make sure that this bum Jose can be shown. Y'all top 2 king. Because y'all crucified Lath for this bum. Okay? So, Jay, a lot of people are unsure of how literal to interpret Martinez and his stars. So would you, wait, portion of it's cut off. We want to make sure we get Jay comment in there, you feel me? So would you say Martinez stars have the literal weight and mass of dying stars as outlined in my video? Or is it simple hyperbole? In my personal opinion, I'd say it could be very literal, since Kevin himself states he pulled 2 neutron stars apart. Now this was Jay giving grace. This was Jay giving grace. He was doing the mental gymnastics to be like, I can see. Okay? I can see is the verbiage. Okay? I say it could be very literal. It could be. That's that, you know what I'm saying? That's that maybe. That maybe terminology, that maybe wording right there. Like I see your point. I could see where you're coming from. Right? Meaning there is some hesitation there. You feel me? He can see whether it is or whether it isn't. So Brent said, so I had in mind his weight would be metaphorical. So chi weight, not literal weight. So Shay overcomes it because his chi is heavier than the weight mentioned, meaning Shay has more chi. The more chi you have, the heavier your chi is basically. So because Shay basically had more chi than Jose, it null and voided his talent. Shay can slice the moon. Right. My dog can slice the moon, right? But come on, my nigga. 200, 300 galaxies game? 200 to 300 galaxies. From a man who is comparable to a Gaki in chi, but not actual aptitude, because the nigga's a bum. I'm not gonna lie to you. Leif had to tell this man the entire fight to get his head in the game. Like Leif is the one comparable to a Gaki or something. No. This man was so busy trying to strategize that he underperformed. And it's kind of similar to how we see Kagaya versus Shay to some degree. Going to show mentality is a huge part in combat and Ordeal as well. And this coincides with Ryu saying Tevin Chi was comparable to a Titan General. So transformation, higher forms, exposed true Chi amounts. Exactly. So that's something just like, bro, where is this rank coming from, bro? Where is this 200, 300 galaxy feet is coming from, but Leif is above? I'm not seeing this guy. Because Leif is comparable. Now, y'all can crucify me if y'all want. I perfectly understand. But based on performance against both Andrea and Shay, Leif is comparable to base Jose. Meaning Leif is Titan Captain level, even though he's a Titan General. Which would also be in line with him being stronger than Ryu, which is our benchmark for Titan General. And then it will also show when Leif and Jose teamed up against Andrea, why they was able to be comparable to each other in speed. Oh, my good. Hold on, wait a minute. I didn't put the goddamn, because I'm doing audio right now. You feel me? Well, not right now, but I'm doing audio. So I made a mistake and put the audio program up. Hold on. Since they both reached Andrea at the same time. Exactly. And we know Leif is not making no black hole. So for him to be stronger than someone who can make a black hole, and that includes in their state form, will mean he should be comparable in regards to the weight of chi that he's able to exude to Jose's dead stars. So he may not be able to break out of it with ease, but he doesn't have that same, it doesn't have the same quality as Venter. Whereas if you don't have a certain talent or a certain talent type or have a certain mastery of this certain specific talent type or elemental type, you're not going to be able to overcome Venter. Which is kind of like a spoiler into my video I'm dropping soon when I finish it for the review, where I was saying that Shay the entire fight wasn't even trying to actually kill Rajani. Bingo. He's only a captain because he can reach the Gaki level, but he doesn't have that experience or aptitude in regards to combat that the Gaki does. And if we take a look at how Hanjiro's, if y'all want, I could bring up the panels as I'm referencing these things, if you guys want, because obviously this is not an edited video, so it'd probably be best to give you guys examples to walk down this yellow brick road of my madness. Oh, people was wishing me happy birthday. Okay. So, okay, I want to say Noragiri's desires. So this is the amp. Now, keep in mind, this is why earlier me and Jay were saying that the amp was basically closer to Pillar. And she had the aptitude to reach that Gaki God tier range, meaning she's about the same level as Jose when she first dons Noragiri. Even to the point where she's actually able, you can say she's strong because she's able to get him a speed type or a speed focused character. Even though he's a elemental type, but a speed focused character, she's able to get the upper hand on him and then still follow up on Leif. They're able to clash, and when he pushes her back, it's just due to her being in a super close proximity and the ability that he used. It wasn't because he was stronger or anything, it was just the ability. So when she sees Jose, which is the three dead stars that Jose used against Shay, when he attaches them to the shield, the 3 stars that attached to Shay's seal, right? Shay had still been using rock armor, but Andrea in this moment, this is why I said I don't know if she has rock armor or not, because she was still able to withstand the blast, but it's a barrier almost protecting her in this moment. So even while she's being held down and subdued by the exploding stars, Leif tries to follow up. She's still able to respond to him. So as he's getting pushed back, he pushes her back. And the moment she begins to recover, they're right there. Leif is trying, he dons his true weapon, which is like a javelin spear. And Jose is using less dead stars. Right? Because if we look back at this moment, when he's flying in, he can create 3 in an instant. But in this moment, he has 2. Which means you can say 2 things. Either A, that chi he was going to use for the 3rd one, he used to reinforce himself to be able to keep up with Leif in this moment, who's not holding back. Or you could say he didn't want to damage Leif. I would lean towards the latter. I would lean towards the first one rather than the latter. Because he's already used 3 of them in close proximity to Leif. So Leif is more, he's closer to base Jose. And if you want to say he outmatches him in certain aspects like speed, but Jose has maneuverability. So Leif has quick burst for sure. But overall, Jose is better because he's a marathon runner. And he can keep up to Leif, but he can also go longer than Leif, bursts of speed. And we've seen Leif do multiple bursts of speed, but we never seen him just outright move fast for a long period of time. But as you can see, they have both similar reaction times on both offense and defense. And I think that's what Brent was trying to really display with this moment, showing that, yeah, you can have a Titan general, but he's also a Titan captain. But none of that really matters to Shay, right? Because Shay is just that much stronger. But when you have a character who has that probability of being able to go to Gaki level, he's going to do that much more. He's going to be that much more impressive than Leif, because not only does he have the ability to go to a high tier, but also he lacks the ability in regards to utilizing his talent to the best of his ability once he transforms into that state. So yeah, he'll still be able to beat Leif. It's not nothing like that, but just saying that Leif is not really as big of a bum as you guys think. Like the ability to basically makeshift weapons almost instantaneously should really tell you with accuracy to what the original looks like, should tell you how much of a threat Leif is. The entire fight, Jose deemed it. I'm not gonna say he deemed it because it was unexpected. Jose took a slash from K.O.D.E before he was willing to tank a Tomas after seeing what Tomas could do, and Leif tanked one Tomas. And when Shay shot the Tomases in I want to say episode 123. No, it is no, that's how heavy is your hands, 121. The building movie chapter. When Shay shoots him, they run through the city, then the maneuverability thing I was talking about. And keep in mind, this is the same, this speed that Shay is displaying is the same speed that was able, is not the same speed because he used blue flame, so it burned harder, so he moved faster. It is, let's say, half the speed that he used to track Baal and get to Baal after Kagaya teleported. Now, boop, bop, boop, slash, knock him down. This is what I mean by he shoots him with the 3. This is the same weight that he shot at Andrea. This is what I mean by the entire fight. This man was not locked in. See, ventures ice slash, and he looks back. Oh wow. Tries to walk up on him. See, he doesn't have the upper hand in the melee battle because this is what Shay professional. He's a professional in melee. Now this is the moment I'm talking about. Now we see 3 Tomases right here, but each Tomas is landing at a different building, meaning he's shooting them individually. Also meaning he didn't deem it worthy to make 3 Tomases because Jose was stronger than Leif by that much. But he was confident that he would be able to beat or severely damage Jose with one Tomas, which is the same amount of Tomases that he killed Leif with when he was actually able to get a clean hit on him versus the one that he blocked. Showing that both Leif and Jose in their base form, or Jose in his base form and Leif, had the same aptitude in regards to being able to defend an attack like that, but also to die against an attack like that as well. So Leif was able to defend against it where he had access to his talent to be able to counter it. Similar to Jose using his talent to fly around it. But the moment they get hit with something like it, it's basically, it may be GG or they're going to be severely injured. Lathe couldn't defend himself whatsoever. And then when you take into account that in, I think it's 127, this moment right here, Shay does the same thing. One single Tomas in 3 different spots. But because he's using rock armor and because his chi expanded past that of Agaki, it doesn't do anything, which is consistent with the power scaling of Ordeal. So yeah, Lathe is basically saying Lathe is not really that much of a bum that you guys think he is. And that Jose is also not the guy that you think he is. Right. Let me see. Now, is there anything y'all want me to touch on? You feel me? Don, Nike. Or what do you guys think about how I kind of conceptualize both Lathe and Jose? Because personally, I'm going to do a video on Lathe. That's automatic because Brent made him after me. So I wouldn't expect. Jay doesn't like Lathe. Jay does not like Lathe. But since Brent made the character after me, I think for my first video, once I'm really done with doing these reviews, is to do a video about Lathe. I don't know if I want to do a Lathe explained video or if I want to do a Lathe is misunderstood video. So which video would you guys like to see? Would you guys like to see how Lathe explained, Lathe Nara explained, or would you guys like to see Lathe Nara is misunderstood? I'll let you guys answer that. I gotta use the restroom real quick. I'll put it in the chat too. So apparently my mic was off. Might have been talking with my mic being off. That's crazy. Fraudulent activity. But it kind of makes me wonder, like that line, the knowledge of chemios was little back then, other than the inhabitants of our island. Few of humanity knew we existed. From time to time, my parents would visit them, teaching them the ways of God, even intervening in their wars at times. Right, going to show that they had the power to basically stop any major conflict. However, that would soon come to an end after a 2-year siege of a pagan king. So let me see if I can find. The king of Babylon. Encamped against it and built siege works surrounding it. The city came under siege for nearly 2 years until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. Nebuchadnezzar. So essentially, the army captain and surrounding it. The city came under siege for nearly 2 years. So the only siege in the Bible for 2 years is the Nebuchadnezzar one. What that says, but I got to do more research on that. But if that's the case, that means that the king of Babylon had a ton of different, maybe not seals like the Cyclops seals, but ancient technology or rituals that was used to stop the progenitors of the Great Four. Which means we have an aspect of a story where we have 2 years worth of technology that could have been used to stop the parents of the Great Four that could be reintroduced into the story, introduced into the story to allow Thanatos to gain upper hands in certain battles. Like I know I was telling Jay that I know Brent said that Africa is going to be a big thing, which means we're going to see Zuri in season 4. I know me and Jay was having a discussion, and I was telling him my theory that I believe that the fruit of Chi, the Chi fruit, this would be something that's grown there. Maybe because they don't have the same growing process, it's not the same fruit, and maybe it's not of the exact same quality, or it could be the same quality, but just not the same number of fruit because of the cultivation process. Maybe it takes a lot longer. Could be the thing that Thanatos is fighting for, since he's already got beat by Shay, and given his limited resources, this is probably like one of the things that causes him to go there. Right, because it would not only allow him to get stronger, it links back to the self stuff. We know the events in the Bible, if I'm not mistaken, takes place in Africa, right? So it'll make sense for the fruit to be there. So yeah, that's why I may go there, may go with the chapter. My bad, after work brain. like the whole Nebuchadnezzar stuff, ancient rituals and things like that. Yeah, I think I may go that route with this review. But again, gotta get there first. I think I'm in another chapter I'm gonna talk about is this one right here. Can't wait to talk about 151. And I like how Shay had the black hole right there, right? And this kind of the black symbolizes his anger and his need for vengeance, while the red and orange symbolize his need for justice, and his justice is overpowering his vengeance, which is also reflective of the way of the conviction chapter. Her not wanting to be separated because if her family handles such pain, she's no different. The light has indeed defeated the darkness. You try, but you cannot save one who rejects salvation. Wait, is her eye color different? I could be tripping. Is her eye color different? Okay, it's not different. It's not different. I want to talk about this because obviously it's a horror ability. But I want to compare and contrast the horror from Riddle's Night completely. I gotta rewatch Jay's stream because he brought up a Bible verse that I want to dissect with the I think it's about a man walking with a cursed hand, not cursed hand, an injured hand. It's best to be maimed and walk without it, or something to that nature. But I know it connects to Shay's sacrifice. I really want to talk about Zahara because for season 3, Zahara, y'all may disagree, but like minor character or side characters, Zahara is the best character that Brent introduced this season. And yes, she was introduced back in season 1, but I mean her actual body, Zahara herself, the actual name, not Nora Giddy, but her true self. Like her scowling, bracing her blade, and just silently walking. Her never responding to Mahalil. In the face of reflection. And her gripping her own personal blade, showing she's ready to fight with Shay. So much so that she's actually touching Mahalil and giving him access to her power through, giving Shay access to her power through Mahalil. Like, Zahara is one of my favorite characters in Ordeal, and she hasn't said a word. She literally has said nothing, and she has become one of my favorite characters in this show. Like, this is one of my favorite chapters in the entirety of the Ordeal, and it is called, I think it's like Awaken a New Man, Awake a Different Man. She didn't give Shay no extra strength, she just observed him. And then you see her using her power, her purple disappears, just becomes all purple. Yeah, this is heat, bro. I can't wait to get to this chapter. But all right, guys, I've been streaming for longer than I thought. I thought I was gonna go for like 2 hours, and then I did a yapathon. Um, but yeah, this is gonna be one of my favorite chapters, bro. I'm gonna cover. I'm gonna try to do Zahara some justice. I may even make solo video on the character because I really enjoyed Zahara. I think this is his best character of season 3. No words, like a Pootie Tang song. G, no words, no beat, no lyrics. She's just a woman of action, right? And we see that same thing with Andrea, a woman of action. And at one time, she did choose to use her words, right? It was one where she was expressing regret. So I want to see what Zahara talks about when she chooses to use her words. But anyway, this is really all I got for like this live stream. I wasn't really expecting for it to go on for this long. I know I kind of was like rambling and yapping, you feel me? But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll leave this video up. I'll probably like retitle it, just erase the my birthday, whatever from it. And then just put the Let's Talk Ordeal. But anyway, you guys enjoy your day, night, or evening. It's Leader of the Cosmic Armada and Librarian of K.O.D.E Archives, Wolf Nara.